Hi, I'm Dr. Winston Warm, the Climbing Doc, and I'm here to talk to you today about pulley injuries and safe recovery after having a pulley injury. And first I'd like to describe this model which I've made out of wood. And this is a finger in the crimp position. You see here there's the tip of the finger here, and the first knuckle, and then the second knuckle, and then this is the hand down here. And these devices here, this metal device represents the A1 pulley, this newspaper represents the A2 pulley, and this other metal represents the A4 pulley. As you know, the A4 and A2 pulleys are the most commonly injured in climbing. And so these tendons, these ropes are representing the tendons, and the purple one is representing the flexor digitorum profundus, which goes all the way up to the tip of the finger. And then the orange ones are representing the flexor digitorum superficialis, and they only go to the middle phalanx, as you see here. So as a finger's loaded in the crimp position, the pulleys get a lot of stress, and they're trying to hold the tendons next to the bone. At this point, I'm going to load the flexor tendons, and I'm putting a 5-pound weight, basically about 2 kilograms. And we're just going to apply that weight to the tendons, and you can see that the pulleys get loaded, but the pulleys stay intact and the tendons stay next to the bone. So the way that climbers most commonly injure their A2 pulleys, or their A4 pulley for that matter, is they have a small hold in a crimp grip, and then their foot pops off, or they dynamically move to another hold. And this model, I hope, will demonstrate to you what happens with a quick load on the flexor tendons. The A2 pulley will break. And often you'll hear a pop, just like you heard there. So what we're hoping is that every climber, once they feel that pop, telltale pop, and think they've injured an A2 or A4 pulley, they'll get themselves into a sport very quickly. And this is a mondo sport that we have on the model here. It's kind of a little bit big just because the finger's very big here, but it's showing how it can help hold the tendons against the bone. And we've done ultrasound studies that show that this in fact works even in chronic pulley injuries. Well, what is going to be problematic for most climbers is that about 2 to 3 weeks the finger is going to stop hurting and they're going to want to start climbing. And they may want to even take the sport off and just go at their project. And what I want to show you is that about 2 to 3 weeks the pulley is already healing, and it's back in one nice piece of collagen here, but it's not strong. And in fact, it's about as strong as wet newspaper. So when I take this weight and apply the same 5-pound weight to the flexor tendons, watch what happens to the pulley. It stretches right out, and you can see it's torn almost completely through. Maybe there's one little fiber remaining there, but it's stretched out, it's incompetent, and as you see, the flexor tendons, I'll just finish it off so that you can see, are way away from the bone. And this pulley will never heal properly unless it's supported with a sport or similar ring splint device. Now on this demonstration I've put the same wet newspaper, but in this case we've placed a sport over the top. We're going to put the same 5-pound weight onto the flexor tendons, and we're going to apply the load, and I'm just going to support this sport like it's been taped onto the finger, and you can see that it holds the pulleys, or it holds the tendons right next to the bone, supporting the pulley. So let's see exactly what happened to that newspaper. We'll take the weight off, and we'll take the sport off, and let's see if it's still in one piece. And you can see the pulley's still in one piece. So it's supported, it's still maintaining, this is a wet piece of newspaper, okay? And it's still maintaining the right shape and holding the tendons against the bone. This is going to allow the pulley to heal in as close to an anatomic position as possible. So wearing your sport for a full 8 weeks after that pop is critical to getting the strength to come back into the pulley and to get it to heal anatomically. You cannot fast forward the healing process. Now, after about 6 to 8 weeks of wearing the sport, the pulley is going to be fairly well healed. It's not as strong as it's going to be in another 8 weeks, which is when you're really going to be able to get back on your project and start cranking on the finger. But it's healed enough to take some load, and we're going to demonstrate that here by, again, just newspaper on here, holding the tendons where they belong. We're going to load it with that 5-pound weight, and you can see this is representing a pulley that's healed probably about the 6 to 8 week mark. It's ready for some training, but it still needs to be supported with the sport when you're climbing, and you're not ready to go to hardcore crimping or monos or hardcore campus board training yet.